You ever paused for a moment amid the chaos of life and asked yourself, what is happiness? Really? Is it a big, beautiful house? Is it a brand new car? Is it the perfect love story or a dream job with a fancy title? We often believe that happiness is something we have to chase, something distant, far away, something we can only claim once we've made it or achieved something grand. But are you sure that happiness lies at the end of the road? There are people who spend their entire lives chasing after happiness, only to realize happiness was never a destination. Happiness is found in the small moments along the journey. It's the laughter you share with loved ones. It's the warmth of the sun on your face after a storm. It's the quiet moments of peace you rarely notice, but feel deeply. So I invite you, take a moment, pause, look a little deeper into your life. You may just discover that happiness, the very thing you've been searching for, has been with you all along. Journey in search of happiness. Where we were kids, we often thought that growing up and landing a steady job would make us happy. Back in school, we dreamed of the day we would graduate. We believed that diploma in our hands would be the key to opening the door to happiness. And on graduation day, we were happy. For a brief moment, it felt like standing on top of a mountain we had been climbing for years. But what happened next? Just a few days later, we found ourselves chasing after a new mountain, a better job, a higher salary, a work environment where we feel seen, valued, and respected. Then we get the job. But soon after, we long for love. When we find love, we dream of a perfect wedding. After marriage, we wish for a bigger house, one that's nicer, grander, more impressive. And so it goes. One milestone after another, and dream after another. Our dreams come true, yes, but happiness, it slips through our fingers, like a drop of dew in the morning sun. The moment you think you've captured it, it vanishes. Have you ever felt like you're playing a never-ending game of hide-and-seek with happiness? You think you've caught it, but just as you reach for it, it fades away. There's a saying you might have heard before. People are unhappy because they always think the grass is greener on the other side. We compare our lives to others, believing that their happiness is somehow brighter, better, more complete than ours. We see our friends get new cars, and suddenly our car feels old and dull. We watch our coworkers get promotions, and suddenly our job feels small and insignificant. We scroll through social media, seeing people on lavish vacations, and suddenly staying home feels boring and empty. But has anyone ever stopped to think the other way around? There's someone out there right now, sitting on a crowded bus, dreaming of the day they can drive their own car. The very car you're calling old. Someone out there is unemployed, wishing they had the ordinary job you're tired of. There's someone lying in a hospital bed just praying for the chance to walk outside and feel the sun on their face, while you walk freely every day without a second thought. Isn't that ironic? We keep chasing bigger mountains, but we forget that the mountain we're standing on right now is one we once dreamed of climbing. When you were a child, didn't you dream of becoming the person you are today? We forget that sometimes happiness isn't about what's ahead. It's about being grateful for what's already here. Warm home, a job that pays the bills, a family that waits for you to come home each night, a quiet morning with a cup of coffee in your hands. Isn't that happiness too? So why do we dismiss it as ordinary? Why do we think happiness has to be something big, something extraordinary, something that feels out of reach? There's a quote from a wise philosopher that goes like this: "We are not unhappy because of what we don't have. We are unhappy because we fail to appreciate what we already have. Take a moment, pause, reflect. Happiness might not be something you have to win, chase, or earn. Maybe it's something you simply need to notice. We're like people holding a diamond in our hands. But instead of appreciating its beauty, we're too busy looking for other gemstones scattered around us. It's time to stop. Stop chasing. Stop running. Stop believing that happiness is hiding somewhere in the future. Don't let your entire life become a race to find happiness. Make your life a journey of appreciating happiness as it appears. Not tomorrow, not next year, but right now. Happiness and pain, the other side of a piece of paper. Happiness and suffering. At first they seem like two opposite forces, but the truth is they are like the two sides of a single sheet of paper, inseparable, connected, and dependent on each other. Think of a precious gemstone. It doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It takes hundreds, maybe thousands of years of pressure, forming inside layers of hard rock. Then it must be cut, shaped, and polished to become the brilliant gem we all admire. In the same way, the lotus does not bloom in dry soil. It grows from the mud, dirty, murky, unclean mud. But do you see it? No matter how filthy the mud is, the lotus still rises pure and radiant, its fragrance filling the air. So why do we believe that happiness should exist without suffering? If there were no darkness, how would we appreciate the light? If we never experienced the cold, how could we long for the warmth of the sun? Think for a moment about someone lying in a hospital bed, caught in the fragile space between life and death. For them, just one more breath feels like the greatest gift in the world. Or think about a family that has just survived an earthquake. They've lost their home, their belongings, everything. But if they find a loved one alive beneath the rubble, they cry tears of joy, because happiness at that moment is simply having the ones they love still with them. So what is happiness to them? It's not money. It's not a big house. It's a heartbeat, a breath, a hug, a simple hand to hold. But what about us? What about you? We have so much already. But we forget. We have bright eyes to see the beauty of the world. We have ears to hear the birds singing in the morning. We have a strong, healthy body that allows us to work, walk, and move freely. These are the very things that someone lying in a hospital bed is praying for right now. Yet we tell ourselves that we're not happy. We convince ourselves that happiness is still somewhere out there. But do you know this simple truth? The life you're living right now is someone else's dream. Somewhere in the world, someone is wishing for exactly what you have today. So why do we run from suffering? Why do we see pain as something to fear, something to avoid at all costs? The truth is, suffering is not the enemy of happiness. In fact, it is only through suffering that we come to understand the true value of happiness. If you've ever gone hungry, you know the value of a simple bowl of rice. If you've ever shivered in the freezing cold, you know how deeply you long for the warmth of the sun. If you've ever lost someone you love, you understand the profound treasure of a single moment shared with family. Maybe suffering doesn't come to break us down. Maybe suffering comes to teach us how to stand up again and how to look at life with eyes full of gratitude. If you're going through a difficult time right now, don't be afraid. Don't be angry. Don't lose hope. Every great challenge comes with an equally great gift. Remember this: diamonds are only found in stone. Lotuses only bloom from the mud. You will never find a diamond lying on a sandy beach, and you will never see a lotus growing from dry desert soil. It is only in the pressure, the struggle, and the mess that beauty is born. Happiness and suffering are one. And don't try to separate them, because without suffering, you will never truly understand the meaning of happiness. True happiness. Here, right now. True happiness. It's not that fleeting excitement you feel after achieving a goal. It's not the momentary joy of receiving an unexpected gift. True happiness is when you realize that right now, in this very moment, you already have everything you need to be happy. Do you realize that? Maybe you're thinking, how can I be happy when my life is still so far from perfect? I don't have a house. I don't have a car. I don't have my dream job. So how could I possibly be happy? But are you absolutely sure those things are required for happiness? Look around you. Look down at your hands. Take a deep breath and feel it filling your lungs. You have eyes that can see the faces of your loved ones. You have legs that can take you wherever you want to go. You have ears to hear the sounds of life. The laughter of friends, the songs of birds, the words of love from family. And right now, in this very moment, your heart is beating steadily inside your chest, sustaining you second by second. Do you see it now? Everything you need, you already have. But somehow, we convince ourselves that it's not enough. Don't confuse happiness with material comfort. True happiness doesn't require a big house. It doesn't require a luxury car or a prestigious job title. Happiness is simpler than that. It's waking up in the morning and taking a deep breath of fresh air. It's looking up at the clear blue sky, hearing the soft chirping of birds. That is happiness. True happiness isn't found in the things we add to our lives. It's found in the things we let go of. Let go of unrealistic expectations, and you'll feel your heart become lighter. Let go of constant comparison, and you'll realize you already have enough. Let go of blame and resentment, and you'll feel gratitude filling its place. Someone once said, if you can't be happy with what you have now, you won't be happy even if you have 10 times more. So stop chasing happiness off in the distance. Pause, just for a moment. Take a deep breath. Listen to your heartbeat. Look closely at this very moment. Happiness is not something waiting for you in the future. Happiness is already here, right now. Meaningful message. Dear friend, don't wait until you have a big house to believe you're happy. Don't wait until you land your dream job to think you've made it. Happiness isn't found in the things we're chasing. Happiness is found in the things we already have. Don't look for happiness in some distant future. Don't trade away your youth chasing something undefined, something uncertain, because what you're searching for might already be right here in this very moment. Stop. Take a deep breath. Listen to the steady rhythm of your heartbeat. Look at the faces of the people who love you, the ones who still smile when they see you. Happiness is not a destination. It's the journey you're walking right now. Happiness is here. It's here, right now. Don't let life's little worries blind you from seeing it. Because if you don't recognize it, you might spend your whole life chasing happiness and never realize that it was with you all along.